For the longest time, the music industry was all about the big reveal. Artists would lock themselves away and would only get this super polished final album. But things are changing, big time. Listeners now, we're craving something real, a connection that's deeper than just a perfect sound. So today, we're diving into why that messy, unfinished creative process, well, it might just be an artist's greatest strength.
So let's really look at this. The old way was all about that polished final product. An artist goes into a studio and boom, a perfect album appears. But the new way, it's all about sharing the journey. It's an invitation, really. It's letting fans in on the whole thing, from a rough idea on a phone to the final mix. It's not just a product anymore. It's a shared story we're all a part of.
And that really gets you thinking, right? It brings us to this huge question. What if that messy first draft, the one that feels so raw and unfinished, is actually the most meaningful version of a song? I mean, could that be the one that really hits you the hardest? Well, let's dig in.
All right, Section 1, the power of imperfection. Why is it that raw emotion can connect deeper than a flawless recording? Well, think about it. The real magic of a song. It's not always about every note being perfectly in tune or every sound being perfectly mixed. Sometimes the most powerful stuff is that raw, honest feeling that can kind of get buried under all the studio gloss. And this quote just nails it. Music's magic lies not only in a flawless recording, but often in the raw emotion behind it. It's so true. When you strip everything away and you're left with just a voice, a guitar, and an idea, that's when the real feeling comes through, It's that unfiltered emotion that really connects, that can hit you in a way a super-produced track just might not.
So how exactly does this imperfection thing work?
Well, first off, it humanizes the artist. Hearing those little flaws, maybe a voice crack or a fumbled chord, makes them feel real. It also creates this amazing private concert vibe. It's like you're right there in the room with them. And when you follow a song from a rough demo to the final release, you're building a shared story together. You feel invested. And all of this, it all comes down to showcasing vulnerability, which is just the fastest way to build real trust with an audience.
Okay, on to our next section. Sharing is easier than ever. This is really about the modern toolkit for opening up that studio door. I mean, think about it. Back in the day, sharing a demo was a huge pain. You had expensive tape, studio time, no YouTube. It was a whole thing. But now, oh man, technology has completely changed the game.
And what that means is the only gatekeeper to sharing your early work now is, well, you. It's not about money or having the right connections anymore. You can make a killer demo with just a laptop and a mic and then share it with the whole world in like 5 seconds. The only real barrier left is an artist's own mindset.
I mean, just look at the tools we have now. You want to share a quick snippet? Go on Instagram or YouTube. You've got a whole collection of demos you want to put out there? SoundCloud or Bandcamp are perfect. Or, if you want to create something really special for your biggest fans, you can use a platform like Patreon for exclusive access. The artist is completely in control of how much they share and with who.
Which brings us to a really important point, overcoming the artist's fear. Because, let's be honest, knowing you can do something and actually doing it are two very different things. It's totally natural for artists to be nervous about this. I mean, putting unfinished work out there, that's scary. There's a huge fear of being judged.
And these are the usual suspects, right? The big concerns. What if people criticize my imperfect vocals? What if sharing the demo spoils the final release? Will this make me look unprofessional? And maybe even, what if the song changes and people get confused? All these fears, they really come down to that need for perfection and the fear of losing control over how your art is seen.
So let's take that first fear head on, the idea that sharing a draft will spoil the final release. The reality is, it's actually the complete opposite. It builds anticipation. When fans hear that early version, they get invested. They can't wait to hear how it turns out. Think of it like a movie trailer. It doesn't ruin the movie, it makes you want to see it even more.
Okay, what about the other big one? The fear that showing rough ideas will make you look unprofessional. Well, here's the thing. In today's world, authenticity is professional. People are so tired of everything being perfect and polished. Showing the real, messy process, that's what makes you relatable. It builds trust and makes people feel connected to you in a way that a perfect image just can't.
And this quote really sums it all up. Progress matters more than flawlessness. It's all about a mindset shift, right? It's about letting go of that crippling perfectionism. Because sharing something that's not quite done isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of confidence.
It shows you're committed to the process, to growing as an artist, and you're inviting your fans to grow with you. So, let's get to the good part, the real payoff, community. Because this isn't just about feeling good and being vulnerable for the sake of it. No way. There are real, tangible benefits to being this transparent, and it all boils down to one word: community. First up, you create a much deeper emotional connection. When someone hears a song being born, when they witness its first moments, it becomes their song too. It's not just another track on a playlist anymore. It's personal. It becomes part of a story that you and your listeners share.
And that leads directly to stronger fan loyalty. I mean, when you let people into your creative process, you're not just getting listeners, you're creating advocates. These are the people who will stick with you, who will champion your work because they feel like they're part of the team. That kind of loyalty, you can't buy it. Another huge win is continuous engagement. You know how artists sometimes disappear for like a year between albums? Well, this solves that. By sharing little snippets, demos, and ideas along the way, you keep the conversation going. Your audience stays connected and excited, always wondering what you're going to share next. And all of this culminates in authentic community building. See, you're not just pushing a product anymore. You're building a culture around your art. It becomes this living, breathing thing that everyone, the artists, the fans, is invested in. It's a true support system.
So, if you remember one thing from all this, let it be this. Your art is a conversation, not a one-time pronouncement. It's a back and forth. The rough drafts, the finished songs, they're all just part of a bigger dialogue you're having with your audience.
Which leaves us with one final thought. One last question. Are you ready to let your fans in sooner? For any creator out there, it's a challenge. But for everyone who loves music, it's an invitation. Because when you open up the process, you remind us all why we fell in love with music in the first place. The real beauty, after all, isn't just in the finished piece, but in watching it become.